You have 1 minute. Introduce yourself, please.
My name's Nichols. I am the Vice President of North Austin Soccer Alliance. I live in District 7. We are a recreational youth soccer league. If soccer comes to McCalla Place, we will be the neighborhood youth soccer league for McCalla Place. I'm proud of the fact that in 36 years of existence, NASA has never turned away a kid for inability to pay. And I sat down with PSV, and I said, you know, if you want to use this land, you've got to do something for youth sports. And they said, what do you want? And I said, I want some improvements to our fields, and I want you to help us make sure that we can continue to serve kids who cannot afford to pay with scholarships. And they didn't blink. They said, you've got it. I believe this is going to be a great deal for the kids and the families that my organization serves. It's going to be a good deal for Austin, and I welcome this, and I encourage you to support item 19.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes.
Really quick, I wanted to ask Mr. Nichols a really quick question, because Lee, you and I have talked about this, and I raised the issue of whether Precor had talked with any of the local recreational and youth soccer groups in town, and I had specifically talked about NASA because you and I had talked about this before, and I was interested in making sure that if something should happen at McCalla, that your group especially would be one of the groups that would benefit from it. I still don't have anything in writing that commits PSV and MLS to supporting you in the ways that you've discussed. I am happy to hear that you have had those conversations. I would like to get those in writing. I want the commitments in writing. And I think what would be best is the comments that you made here today, if you could put them down in writing and get Mr. Precor to sign off on them, then we would have something that we could maybe even include in some of our city documentation to provide assurances that the promises that are being made will come true. That has been one of my chief concerns about the term sheet and the promises coming from PSV, specifically Mr. Precor, is I'm trying really hard to find certainty and predictability and enforcement. And this is a perfect example of where I think it might be missing. You have the word, but it's not in writing. So I would ask the two of you to work on that and see if we could get the commitments from Precor signed, sealed, and delivered.
Councilmember Poole, I agree. I would like to have it in writing, but I would point out that in the agreement that was worked out with city staff, if I remember correctly, there was $75,000 for youth sports scholarships. I'll be frank, even if NASA isn't included in that, if that $75,000 is going to get some kids somewhere in the city on a soccer field or a baseball field or whatever, I'm good with that.
I understand that, and I appreciate
North Austin Soccer Alliance.
Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
And I just